Hey everyone, it's Patty from pspapercrafts. Thanks for joining me for another Friday Fun Fold video. Can you believe we're at the end of September? We're at the end of the last Friday of the calendar. So we're making a triangle gatefold card, and I'll have to come up with my next month's calendar to see what we're doing next week. If you want this calendar, I send it each month. To those who subscribe to my email list, there's a link below if you would like to subscribe, and I'm working on October and we'll see where we go with that. So I do card sketches a couple times a week. I do color combos, and then over here is for you just to be inspired. So this is the triangle gatefold card, and I think it's a little different than a lot of them. I think a lot of them are cut down here as well, I believe. I kind of looked around. Sorry, I had it closed the wrong way. And this one I found in Inkspire Me Stampin' with Stephanie. She's in Canada, and I watched her video to learn how to make this, and I think it's fun. So this is made with the Charming Day, or Charming something. What is it? Sorry, Floral Charm Designer Series paper. So I use this, and you need a paper that has both sides. So I actually cut this one wrong, so you'll see it. And you want to make sure that the side that is going to be down here, I guess it's okay. You may need to worry about whether it's directional or not, but it seems like it worked out okay. I guess you could switch the corners. I was looking for something that wasn't really directional. So, you know, you don't want to have, and I guess I should have played with it. So you don't want to have this and then have the corners upside down. So we'll have to see when we make the next card if that is a concern. I kind of picked something that didn't really matter. And then I used the Charming Day stamp set and the dies. So I used this die to cut this, and I cut it right out of the paper. I don't know if you'll see that. Sometimes it's fun to cut right out of the designer series paper. I think I covered it up. So I used the die to cut it from this, and then I used on the inside the die to cut it from this. I cut two of them, but I only used one. So, you know, you can use cardstock or the die. So we are going to, of course, use other papers, other colors. I'm using the Modern Christmas products. Oh, and I also use some of this. This is Timid Tiger. So I use some Timid Tiger for the ink and for the, what are they called? The flat pearls. So let's get with the next one. Let me just get it here. These are the pieces. So I'm using the Modern Day Christmas, and we are going to do some gold embossing with embossing powder, because this is just really pretty. I love this. There's something about it that just really speaks to me, and I think this is great if you cut it in a circle. I've made cards with that. There's a sheet. I almost fussy cut this, but we're going to stamp and die cut. I thought there would be dies for this, but there aren't that I know of. But isn't it pretty? Black and white and silver, or sorry, gold. So it's really fun. I guess it's modern. There's the Ornamental Christmas. We're going to use this tree, and we're going to cut it with the dies, but you can cut out circle, star. There's different ornaments. Is this the right thing? Yeah. It's kind of funny because it's different ornaments. I guess you could put this inside the ornament. And then there's this star. Let me just open it up. So I'm thinking you can do the star, but you can maybe do the tree. No. I guess it would work. There's also these gold hoops. Let me just get them. So there's these large gold hoops, so you can use the hoops to make ornaments, and then in the suite there's also black and white and gold baker's twine, which is really fun. So you can you know, die cut these and hang them in the hoop and make ornaments. I haven't done that yet, so we'll we'll have to play with that. And then I love this big Merry Christmas, 'tis the season, wishing you peace and joy and be jolly. So let's get started. Again, you're going to use a piece of 12 by 12 designer series paper, and you're going to cut it at 5 1/4 by 12. Okay, and then you're going to have a card base. I use the thick, I almost used black, but I kind of thought it was too much black. And even when it's this side, it's a lot of black, so I figured I would use the white. This is your card base, and on here I have Night of Navy, and it's just one layer, and we're going to put this on top of it. So this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then this is 5 1/4 by 12. We need to do some scoring here, so let's get our trimmer out. I have a little piece of black hanging out there. So we are going to score it at 2, 4, and then if you don't have an arm, you could do 2 and 4 on the other side. Otherwise, you're going to do 8 and then 10. Okay, we'll just close that up, and we'll just fold these, and you can do this whatever side you want. I'm just going to fold them. So I thought we would do it this way, where you're going to fold it this way, no, this way. What am I doing here? This is it. A little confusing here. So we're going to fold this in and then these out. Okay. And then we're going to do some cutting. So let me just burnish these. So again, you could do it whichever way you want, but let's see how this will work when I cut off the angles, if it's going to be a problem, if it's directional. So that's what I mean. We don't want these trees to be upside down here if we were to make it go this way. I don't want to confuse you, but and this is going to be hard because it is black and we have to measure it. Both sides are black. Oh, this is going to be interesting. On this one, I measured the orange side, and I should actually erase that because there was a lot of this in the way. But let's see how we do. So we want to measure down on each side at 2 1/4 and make a little tick mark. I'm wondering if I have a white pencil. Let me see. So I have a silver pencil. Let's see if that will work. And I'm going to come down 2 1/4, and I just want to mark it there. And then the same thing over here. I want to come down 2 1/4, 2 1/2, 2 1/4. Okay, so let's see if that will work. Then we want to get our trimmer out again. And we're just going to cut from the fold to that little mark. So we're going to go from the fold to the mark. So there's the mark. I don't know if you can see it, but I can see it. Okay, and then we're going to just cut that and put this aside. And then we're going to do the same thing. And you want to do it at the top of the card, not the bottom, right? So we're going to do that little mark and the fold. Just want to get it in the right place. Okay. Let's put this away. So this is where I want to see if so if I was making it this way, see how the trees are this way? Let's see. Will it be upside down? It will be upside down. So that is important then. You want to have it non-directional on the inside. Okay? But we're going to do it this way. And these stars, it doesn't really matter. Right? So it appears that it's cut here, but it's not. So let's put this down. I'm going to use some liquid glue and just put it on here. And make sure these triangles are the right way. If you have it the wrong way, it might be, I don't know if it's a little bit longer this way than the bottom. So you wouldn't want to have it like this. See how it doesn't fit right? So make sure before you put it down, you have it the right triangle for the right side of the card. I hope that makes sense. It's getting dark here. It's kind of a rainy day. Okay. It is a very dark looking card, but I think it's okay. So then we have the base. So we're going to put this right on the base. And this is where I was saying I didn't want to have it black because I feel like it's too dark. So let's put this down. And I love all the gold. So again, we're going to do some gold heat embossing with the sentiment and a Christmas tree. I feel like I have glue on my thing here. And I know it's probably hard for you to see that it's white on white. Okay, so now we have our card. So now what we want to do is, this is going to come here like this. So it kind of breaks it up. It hides the trees a little bit. And I'm going to make this a little different. So this one I put the sentiment here. And what Stephanie did on hers was she put it here and she made this so that it would kind of close this. And I'll show you what I mean in a minute when we get to that part. So let's adhere this together. Let me get my... So we're not going to stamp on this, so that's okay for me to put it down and put it together. And there's my Bailey. I'm going to step away and get rid of him. Sorry about that. My Bailey's always snoring up a storm when I'm making my video. I put him in the other room. So this is going to come here, and we only want to put adhesive on one side. So you can decide whether you want it to open this way or if you want this to be on this side. I kind of like it on the left, so we only want to put adhesive on this side of the piece, right? So that's easy. You don't want to go past that corner. And let's do this with glue. So we're just going to come in from the corner. I go back and forth with my liquid glue and my Seal Plus. I like it for different reasons, different uses for each. So we want to make sure that the point is lined up with the where it meets there. Okay, so far so good. And now let's do our stamping of the tree. So I chose this tree. We're going to stamp it in Versamark ink, and then we're going to heat emboss it with gold embossing powder. So I have a scrap. I have my embossing buddy. That just takes the static off so that the powder only sticks to where you're stamping. So this is Versamark ink. It's kind of a sticky ink, and it's hard to see until you put your powder on it, unless you put it on a color, a colored cardstock. But we're just going to go on white, and you probably can't see it. I can see it. And then we're going to get our gold embossing powder. and just pour it on. And then you can see the tree. And I always like to do another coat just to make sure it's all good. And then let me put the top on so we don't make a mess. And then I like to just, I mean, it doesn't matter because we're going to die cut this, but you could just use the brush to get any off because it will melt on. Let's put that aside and get my heat tool out. And I will mute this so you don't have to hear it. Okay. Okay, it's done when you don't see any powder. I was trying to show you as it changed. I don't know if you were able to see it or not. But let's move all of this away. And actually, let's do the rest of our embossing, and then we'll do our die cutting, okay? So I also wanted to use the Be Jolly, and we're going to do this on this little tiny piece. Now, this is not something I had on here. As I said, I have the sentiment here. We're going to make this a little different. So this is a 1 1/4 by 1 1/4, and we're going to use a 1 1/2 by 1 1/2 mat. And we're going to do this Be Jolly, and we'll just ink this up. And then I think we'll do the inside as well. So we'll get all of our embossing out of the way. So I'm going to put this kind of down here a little bit. And on this one, I am going to use my tweezers because it's going to be hot. So let's first get this, and you can actually use what you already have. I'll put the tweezers down. Whoops, I've got glue on me again. I always have glue on my fingers, and here's my, so on this one I definitely want to get it off because I'm not die cutting this out, so I don't want to have all this little extra. So I'll put this aside, we'll use our tweezers and we'll emboss this one. Okay, 2 down, and then let's just do the inside. So on the inside, this is kind of a small piece. It's 3 by 4 1/4 because I want to show the trees. So let's put all of that up here, and let's do Merry Christmas. And I don't think I'm going to do anything else. I think it's just going to have Merry Christmas. So let's do this. I think I forgot to do that on the last one. This is a big stamp. So let's get it nice and inked up. And then we can stamp this right like that. I think I see a little red in there. I must have had a little red on that stamp. That'll be okay. So let's do this. Now I'm just making a mess here. But instead of pouring it from the bottle again, I'm just kind of using what I already have in the tray. It's nice to just flick it, get any excess off, use the paintbrush. That's pretty, right? And then we'll put this aside and we will do our last heating. This always wows me when I see it change from powder to this pretty gold. So now let's do our die cutting. So we're going to take the tree from here and we'll die cut it. Let me get my machine. And get my top plate here. And just put this right over it. I feel like I changed my bottom, I threw out my bottom plate, and what I do is I always have the two plates, the bottom one, I always use this different one for top one so that it stays clean, and then when the bottom one gets bad, I throw it out. I use the top one as the new bottom, although I did put my die in upside down. I'm so upset about that. But so this is a little bit warped, but it'll break in. I will use my tape. My granddaughters got into my tape and they were having fun. This is like a Post-it tape. You can use Post-it note or washi tape. But I feel like this is, the bottom plate is a little warped, so I want to make sure it's on there right. I'm going to put this on, put it out a little bit so that the sandwich going through isn't too thick. And we'll just run it right through. Okay, so let's put that back and get rid of this. All right, so I think we have all our pieces. Let's adhere this together. Oh no, yeah. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to use dimensionals to put it on the card. So black and white and gold, what a great combo, right? That's going on the inside. This is going to go just like this. And let's put it down with dimensionals also. Let me see, do we have dimensionals? We'll use these. So I am going to put this down here. Use all your edges. Let me cut some of this up. Take the backs off. I'm just going to put this right dead in the center here. Okay, and then this one, we're going to have it just like this so that this can slip under it and hold it closed. So we don't want to put a dimensional here. But let's put these down. So we don't want to put it here. I like to use my finger because as soon as I turn it over, I lose track of what I'm doing. And we're just going to put it down like this. So you can either have it like this, or you can have it like this to hold it closed a little bit. Okay, and then this is the inside, and again it's a smaller layer, but it lets you see all the designer series paper pattern. So just like this. What do you think? Let's get some kind of bling for it. So I think I'll just use the neutral black, neutral matte dots, and they have the black, and I think it's very vanilla, and what is it? Not sure. Some kind of brown. Oh, and they have white as well. Let's use this one, and we're just going to put it there. I don't think we need anything else there. Maybe a star on top, but I think this is good. So Merry Christmas, and this can go in here. And then we have this, hey, you made my day, right like this, which doesn't have the sentiment down there. So what do you think? Kind of fun, different. I like them. And so look for my next month's calendar, and it will be a surprise as to what we're doing next Friday. Thanks for joining me, and have a great week.